Games are always lying to us. The titles never tell us what the game is actually about. The Legend of Zelda, the game is about Link. Five Nights at Freddy's, you spent 7 nights there. The Invincible, but I can clearly see him. This is why Monster Hunter is such a great series. You know what you're getting into. It's hunting monsters, in case you couldn't tell. Monster Hunter Wilds is the newest installment in this long-running series of incredible monsters, armor, and weapons. But is the game even good? Well, you do hunt monsters in this game, so that is a good start. The game starts with this monster called the White Wraith attacking this village of people called the Keepers, and Tashin pushes his nephew Nata to safety, not knowing if he'll live out on his own or not. Luckily, he is spotted by a team researching the Forbidden Lands, which is thought to be uninhabited. Enter me as a hunter, and after spending half an hour on the character creation, which is a speedrun by the way, I was given the task of surveying the Forbidden Lands and helping Nata return to his village. As I arrive, I see a herd of Balahara chasing a little girl. The Forbidden Lands is deserted, my butt. I already found 2 people. I get my main form of transportation, a Sacred, as I help save the girl and her brother who is in trouble, where I get my first taste of Monster Hunter gameplay. It's complicated explaining the gameplay. There are 14 different weapons, and they all actually play differently. You got Sword 1, Sword 2, Sword 3, now with Shield DLC, 2 swords, hammer, I couldn't think of anything funny to say, a hunting horn, that's already funny as it is, lance, cooler lance, I'm a sword, now I'm not, I'm a sword. Now I'm not. Whee! I'm flying! Gun, gun, and not a gun. Which one should you play? Whatever you want, really. Try all of them out, and whichever one is the most fun to play with, then go ahead and use it. All the weapons also have really flashy and cool combos. You also get a secondary weapon, so you can pick 2 different weapons. Or 2 of the same weapon if you're weird like that. But at the end of the day, all you're doing is hitting a monster until it dies. Not to say you can just turn your brain off and swing wildly, the monsters can and will kill you. You need to learn the monster's choreography to know what attack they're about to throw out so that you can dodge it and be able to counterattack with a combo. They added focus mode to this game that allows you to attack specific points on the monster's body, but if you hit a weak point, then you break the monster's part. You also have items to help you out in hunts like traps. You also have a slinger which can shoot different ammo that can blind or distract the monster, as well as help you use environmental traps and bombs to help you hunt. That's really it. If you're not hunting a monster, then you are crafting armor or weapon from the monster you hunted and then preparing for the next hunt. This sounds repetitive, just hunting a monster over and over and over again. But like, what were you expecting? Look at the title, for goodness sake. What, you wanted a roller coaster or something? So I'm gonna be real with you. I am not that good at transitions, so we're gonna go back to the story. I meet the Woodwoods, the natives of the forest, but they don't really serve much of a purpose except for pointing you to the next monster. See, now you're speaking my language. A pack of Doshagima destroyed my pop-up tent and they are closing in on the desert village that the little girl and her brother from the beginning of the game were from. So I tried to warn them, but they don't listen to me as the gem chimes will keep the Doshagima out. So the gem chimes don't keep the Doshagima out and I have to hunt them. Immediately after, I begin hunting an Ulthduna when we finally spot the White Wraith for the first time. And he just kills the Ulthduna for fun before flying away. I venture deeper into the forest and find another village of people, but they focus on forgery and oil rigs. The Fire Spring Festival is coming up, so we decide to stay for a bit. But the forgery doesn't work, so I go out and hunt some monkeys. So I am also reading the script and realizing, this sounds crazy. But the furnace starts running too efficiently, so I go out and hunt an octopus. Because why not? The Fire Spring Festival is now up and running, and apparently, it's good. I don't know how or what they were doing, but they did it right. I travel beyond the Ice Shard Cliffs, but run into some weird monsters there. I found another Doshagima, but its fur is a different color, and it has new attacks. Same thing for the Rathalos I run into. It's not the normal red dragon it used to be, it just seems different. But why? I find the Keepers, and Nata is reunited with everyone. When they tell me the truth about the monsters and about the White Wraith. There used to be a city called Viveria who created monsters to behave as guardians. You heard me right. They created the guardians. And just like every other media where they bring something to life, it went horribly wrong. The Guardians are special, however. They don't need to eat, and they can never die of natural causes. They do need to consume this mysterious energy called wyvern milk, but as long as they do that, they can keep on guarding the keepers, until the White Wraith, whose name is Arkveld, spawns in and attacks the village. Upon learning about this, Nata starts to freak out, claiming that Arkveld nor any of the Guardians ever got to live life, even claiming that we are the real monsters. Nata, those were some brave words. But the Guardians were not going to live as long as I had something to say about it. Need I remind you about the name of the game? Remember how I said the Guardians don't need to eat? Well, Arkveld starts eating things, so I find this person called the Allharkin to explain why Arkveld started doing this. And she doesn't know. So I hunt Arkveld, because what else am I going to do? Arkveld was trying to get to the Dragon Torch, which is the source of unlimited energy, and when we find it, we find another, even more powerful Guardian, and Nata needs to make a choice. With his necklace, he can destroy the Dragon Torch and kill the Guardian inside of it. But all of the tribes and villages will cease to exist because they rely on the Dragon Torch for energy. Or let the Guardian Soshia awaken and destroy all life in its path. But they are forgetting about a secret third option. Well, I thought it to be obvious, but yeah, apparently not. I could. Oh, I don't know. I was thinking I could go hunt the Zoshia, and that's exactly what I did. It is an intense hunt with fire spewing everywhere and Soshia being able to regenerate. One of the best hunts to end the game on, and all of life was saved. My biggest fear is that I made this game sound boring. It is not. This is one of the funnest games I've ever played. There were a lot more monsters than I mentioned while summarizing the story. I only focused on monsters that really had an impact on the story, and most of them didn't. And I get it, it's a bit hard to make the story flow easily when the main gameplay aspect is hunting monsters. Every hunt was fun, but the game played out like walk to a new area, a monster attacks us, hunt the monster. Walk to a new area, a monster attacks us, hunt the monster. Walk to a new area, a monster attacks us, hunt the monster. Well, like I said, it was fun. I never got bored. I was just excited to see what the next monster I was going to hunt was.
Shiro, what about the story?
What about the story? It's all about the hunt! There's not much of a story here. It's more just a lore dump for how the world works. I love learning about the different villages and then learning that they were all connected to the ancestors of Wyvern City, because they were all affected by the Dragon Torch. The Dragon Torch causes lightning storms to appear in the desert, heavy rainfall in the forest, or give fire to the forge. They're all connected. Then learning that they created life by making the Guardians, and it was the same creation that caused their downfall. The lore is great in this game, but the story is just get Nata back to the village and fight all of these monsters along the way. Personally, I liked all of the characters. It definitely took some time to like them, but by the end of the game, I was genuinely worried about what choice Nata would make that would change the fate of the world. But is Monster Hunter Wilds a perfect game? What? Does a Rashang not eat a Kirin's horns? The answer is no. The Rashang does eat the Kirin's horns. That's how it gets his electric abilities. I realize most of you probably don't play Monster Hunter. The bottom of the line is, it's not a perfect game, okay? I'm sorry. I thought I tried to do a Monster Hunter joke. The biggest gripe I have is that this game is the easiest Monster Hunter game. I know that doesn't sound like a bad thing, but I'm used to hunts taking 15 to half an hour. I'm getting through these hunts in less than 10 minutes. Now, the hunts did get harder whenever I got to Guardian Doshagama, so it could just be Capcom trying to ease in new players. But I love it when hunts are long and hard. I need it to be rough to make me come back begging for more. I didn't like how the game would switch from pre-rendered cutscenes to in-game cutscenes. It just never looked right. I also didn't like the Sacred, as they also made the game too easy. They just travel straight to the monster automatically without any player input. I'm not saying it was the best thing ever traveling to a new place whenever the monster fled, but at least it took some input. The monster is escaping! Go, bird! Whoa! Ow! 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 Ow!
Yeah, man. I don't get it. I don't know why your wife would just
Ow! 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 Ow!
We need to kill that guy.
I did say that I didn't get bored of the game, but I definitely felt it get repetitive. Always doing the same combo on the monsters will get tedious after the 50th time, which is why I love being able to carry multiple weapons now, but the combos will still feel repetitive. Palicos no longer cook in Monster Hunter Wilds. In previous games, these canteens have charming animations of Palicos showing off what amazing cooks they are in the kitchen as they whip up massive dishes for the hunters. But they no longer do that in this game. Aww. But I loved every Monster Hunter game, and this one is no exception. It was wild, pun entirely intended. Like I just keep saying, and I'll say it more, this game is a lot of fun. Monster Hunter has always been about one thing: hunting monsters, and Monster Hunter Wilds does it so well. It's such a joy hunting a monster and then making armor and weapons out of them. I usually play with the insect glaive because I just love flying around, but I wanted to pick up a new weapon for this game, and the dual blades was a shocking amount of fun. I was dealing so much damage to the monsters and spinning down their spine, it was so cool. Not to mention, there's an entire post-game to do with stronger monsters and more armor. I was going to beat the post-game, but people are saying it's taking up to 20 hours to beat, and I need to release this video as soon as possible, so I'll just focus on it on my own time. Hey guys, Future Shearer here. Yeah, the post-game has been great. It does take a bit to level up enough to continue the story, but I'm still having fun. All of the weapons are great to use, and now with a focus attack, some of the weapons play differently from previous titles. Being able to focus on a monster's weak point to deal massive damage adds more to the game than you would think. All of the monsters were great and fun to hunt, as well as the whole game looks amazing. With a massive world to explore and so many different biomes that it's great to have so much variety. You can also use the environments against the monsters by having a boulder fall on them or trapping them in vines. It's nice to have these natural traps. The music didn't stand out a lot, but the songs that did sounded amazing. The Soul Shia theme alone made this fight seem so much more epic. Monster Hunter Wilds is a great game, and if you're new to the Monster Hunter series, then you should play this game as it is a good starting point to introduce you to the world of Monster Hunter. And if it's not clear enough, I love hunting monsters.